At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a routine stop. The flashing lights painted the quiet street in red and blue, and the woman behind the wheel greeted the officer with a polite smile. She appeared calm, almost relieved, as if she had absolutely nothing to hide. Her voice was steady, her gestures controlled, and every detail about her presence whispered innocence. To anyone passing by, it would have seemed like the picture of compliance. But sometimes, the most convincing masks are the ones worn with a smile. What the body cam captured that night wasn't just a casual exchange, it was the slow unraveling of a story she never intended anyone to see. Subtle cracks began to show, moments so small they might have gone unnoticed if not for the camera's unblinking eye. Because no matter how perfect the act may appear, the truth always slips through. She spoke with a sweetness that almost felt exaggerated, answering every question with a quick smile and a voice just a little too cheerful for the situation. Her hands rested neatly on the wheel, her words rehearsed like lines in a play she had performed before. The officer asked simple questions, and she responded instantly, as though she had practiced them in her head long before this moment. It wasn't defiance, it wasn't fear, it was something stranger, an innocence so polished it felt unnatural. We've all met someone like that, haven't we? The kind of person who seems overly agreeable, overly eager to appear harmless. At first, it puts you at ease, but deep down, a question lingers. Is it genuine, or is it just an act? The body cam kept recording, and soon that answer would begin to surface. At first, everything seemed to flow smoothly. Her voice carried that same polite tone, but then came the laughter, soft, nervous, and misplaced. It slipped out at moments when there was nothing funny, like a reflex she couldn't control. Her hands, once steady on the wheel, began to tremble ever so slightly, fingers tapping against the leather as though each second of silence weighed on her. The officer asked her to repeat a detail from her story, something small and insignificant. This time, her answer wasn't quite the same. The words were similar, but not identical, and the shift was subtle enough to catch attention. Another question followed, and again, the details bent just a little, like a script she was forgetting line by line. Viewers of the body cam footage can sense it, the unspoken tension building in the space between her words. Innocence, once convincing, begins to feel rehearsed. Confidence gives way to hesitation, and suddenly, her calm composure no longer looks like honesty. It looks like the mask of someone desperately trying not to be exposed. The questions became sharper, less routine, and her polished answers began to fray. What once came quickly now arrived with hesitation, as if every word had to be carefully chosen before it left her mouth. She paused more often, glancing toward the ground, her eyes darting back and forth as though searching for an escape. The officer's tone stayed calm, professional, but beneath the surface, suspicion was building. Every new question seemed to corner her further. Where are you coming from tonight? Why does this detail sound different now than it did minutes ago? Each answer tangled into the next, small contradictions weaving themselves into a story that no longer held together. The silence between exchanges felt heavier than the words themselves, pressing down like a weight everyone could feel. The body cam didn't miss a thing. Her shallow breathing, the tightening of her jaw, the way her smile faded when she realized the officer wasn't moving on. To the outside world, she still looked composed, but to those watching closely, the cracks were turning into fractures. Something was there, hidden just out of sight, and the only question left was simple. What truth was she so desperate to keep buried? And then, in a single moment, the mask shattered. The officer asked her to step out of the car, his voice firm but steady. What began as a simple conversation now shifted into something far more serious. She hesitated, her body stiffening, and for the first time that evening, her composure cracked. The body cam recorded every second, the nervous glance, the shallow breath, the way her hands clutched at the door handle as though opening it meant the end of her performance. When the search began, the truth could no longer hide. Tucked away where she thought no one would look, the evidence emerged. It wasn't speculation anymore. It was real, undeniable, and captured frame by frame. All the polite smiles, the cheerful tone, the carefully rehearsed story, none of it mattered now. The shock came not just from what was found, but from how quickly the entire atmosphere shifted. That carefully constructed image of innocence dissolved into panic, her voice trembling as the reality of exposure set in. The body cam didn't lie. It revealed what she tried so hard to conceal, and in that moment, justice began to take its course. The truth she buried had finally come to light. Her world unraveled in seconds. The same voice that once sounded sweet now cracked with desperation as officers placed her in handcuffs. The body cam caught her eyes darting, searching for an escape that didn't exist. Every excuse, every fake smile, every carefully woven lie collapsed under the weight of truth. This was the moment of karma, swift, undeniable, and inescapable. The innocent act that once fooled everyone was gone, replaced with raw panic. Justice wasn't delayed. It arrived instantly, and the mask she wore so confidently shattered beyond repair. The calm, the cracks, the suspicion, all led here. You can wear a mask, but not forever. Innocence can be acted out, rehearsed, even believed for a while. But the truth always breaks through. The body cam didn't just expose her lies, it reminded us all of a timeless lesson. No matter how well hidden, secrets eventually come to light. If this reveal left you stunned, just wait, because the next story will shake you even more. Truth has a way of slipping through cracks, and I'll be here to show you when it does. Subscribe now, so you don't miss the next mask falling off.